This year, Right Reverend Philip Sulumeti, Bishop Emeritus of Kakamega, is celebrating Episcopal Golden Jubilee 1972 to 2022. Right Reverend Joseph Obanyi, Bishop of Kakamega, shares his reflections on the life and performance of Bishop Philip Sulumeti, Emeritus of Kakamega.
We are very happy and pleased to proclaim this year as the year of the Jubilee of our Bishop Emeritus, Philip Sulumeti, the Bishop Emeritus of the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega. We really feel very privileged and very blessed because these are some of the fewest bishops in Kenya and in Africa who are able to celebrate the 50 years, the Golden Jubilee, during their lifetime. So the Diocese of Kakamega continues to rejoice in the gift of Bishop Emeritus, Philip Sulumeti, who this year therefore celebrates his Golden Jubilee as a bishop. We've already celebrated his Golden Jubilee as a priest, and we are again privileged. And in fact, the people of Kakamega are most privileged to witness these occasions, and especially the one that we are preparing to celebrate.
Right Reverend Philip Sulumeti was born on August 15, 1937 at Kotur in Amkura, Catholic Diocese of Bungoma. He was baptized on 28 August 1937 by Reverend Father Thomas Bernard Rostron, Mill Hill Missionary in Amkura Parish. He studied in Amkura Primary School from 1946 to 1951. He then moved to St. Peter's Seminary Mukumu for secondary education from 1952 to 1958. He proceeded to Gaba, Uganda Seminary in 1959 for his philosophy and theological studies until 1965. He studied philosophy from 1959 to 1960 and theology from 1961 to 1965. He was ordained deacon on 29th June 1965, ordained priest on the 6th January 1966 in St. Rose Lima Parish, Amkura, by Bishop John Diripa, Mill Hill Missionary. The first appointment of Father Philip Sulumeti was on 6th January 1966 to teach in Kaplong Secondary School in Kericho. He was then reappointed to Shibui Parish as an assistant priest. In September 1967, he was sent to Rome to study canon law in Urbaniana Pontifical University and graduated with a doctorate in canon law. In January 1971, he was appointed diocesan secretary and also as second Vicar General of the Diocese of Kisumu. On 20th August 1972, he was consecrated bishop and appointed auxiliary of Bishop Diripa. On 9th December 1976, he was appointed the Bishop of Kisumu until 27th February 1978, when the Diocese of Kisumu was split and the Diocese of Kakamega created, and he was the first Bishop of Kakamega.
From the point of view of Kisumu, I'm also very specially related to Bishop Philip because Bishop Philip was the first Bishop of Kisumu as an African. And then after a short time, he was transferred to Kakamega. So he stands in the history of the Archdiocese of Kisumu in a special way, the first African bishop to become Bishop of Kisumu. So he stands as my predecessor in Kisumu as well, because after him, then there was Archbishop Okoth, then there was Archbishop Philip Anyolo, and now myself.
On 27th April 1987, the new Diocese of Bungoma was created from Kakamega. On 24th November 2012, the Holy See accepted the resignation of Bishop Philip Sulumeti, but asked him to carry on shepherding the Diocese of Kakamega until his successor was to be appointed. On 5th December 2013, Bishop Joseph Sagwe Obanyi was appointed as Bishop of Kakamega, thus succeeding Bishop Philip Sulumeti. Bishop Sulumeti's coat of arms includes a tree with roots in 2 fish and 5 loaves. The tree represents the church, the people of God. The fish stand for the Eucharist, which is the life of the church. His bishopric has been guided by his motto, Illum oportet crescere, which means that he may increase. This is taken from the words of St. John the Baptist in reference to our Lord Jesus Christ. Throughout his ministry, his task has been that of making Christ grow in the hearts and life of people, and for him to decrease. To him, the virtue of humility is paramount. He took over from the Mill Hill missionaries who evangelized the western part of Kenya.
Learning the life history of Bishop Sulumeti is actually learning the history of faith, the faith that grew in Western Kenya. Bishop Sulumeti inherited the missionaries. He took over from Bishop Jan de Ripa, the last missionary bishop in Kisumu, and he had grown under them. And therefore, he was one who was very much conversant with how the missionaries worked. And therefore, taking over as the first black bishop in this area from the missionaries will tell you what challenges he may have encountered, but also what newness he was bringing as a local bishop who understands both the local situation but also the missionary spirit of the missionaries that he inherited as a bishop.
During his tenure as bishop, vocations grew tremendously. He moved literally to every corner of East Africa region looking for vocations.
So Bishop was able to start a diocese from very humble beginnings. There were no vocations. Bishop Sulumeti had even to go as far as Tanzania to go and source for the first young men who became priests in the Diocese of Kakamega.
Nilikuja Kenya mwaka wa 1969 wakati walikuwa wanatafuta miito kwa jimbo la Kakamega. Tulikuja huku, tulikuwa mapadri wanafunzi kadhaa.
Kwa wenzangu ambao walinitangulia huku jimboni Kakamega, Padre Didas Mroso, Padre Cornelius Bahati, Padre Ambrose Upendo ambaye alifariki dunia, Padre Felix Juma Mushi, Padre Blaise Masumbuko Mushi, Padre Beda Marandu, Padre Boniface Silayo, Padre Constantine Silayo, Padre Gaspar Galema Masawe Padri Peter Nyaki, Padri na mimi mwenyewe Padri Felix Lekule, wote tunatoka katika parokia mbalimbali katika jimbo la Moshi kule Tanzania.
Na tulianza katika seminari ndogo ya St. Peter's Mukumu, na baadaye tukamaliza St. Peter's, tukaenda Mabanga, tukamaliza Mabanga, Form 5 Mabanga, Form 6 Tindinyo, baadaye tukarudi tena Mabanga filosofia, tukaenda St. Thomas Nairobi. Nilikaa mwaka mmoja St. Thomas na wenzangu, baadaye nikaondoka. Sisi wenzetu tukapelekwa Roma, tukamaliza masomo ya theolojia Roma, tukarudi tukapadrishwa hapa mwaka 1981 na askofu wetu mstaafu Philip Sulumeti. Alikuwa askofu wa jimbo la Kisumu, baadaye Kakamega. Alafu kufanya kazi kama mapadri. Mimi nilianza na Musoli kwa muda wa miezi michache, baadaye nikaja St. Peter Seminary kufundisha, baadaye nikapelekwa uaskofuni, nikakaa na askofu huyu mstaafu Philip Sulumeti kama karani katibu wa askofu, na baadaye nikaondoka. Baada ya miaka 10 nikaondoka, nikaenda kuanzisha Pastoral Center Shimalabanda. Kwa kweli wakati tulipokuja kulikuwa na uchache wa mapadri katika jimbo la Kakamega. Sisi ni kama mapadri ambao ni wamisionari weusi ambao tulikuja kwa jimbo la Kakamega, na tunamshukuru Mungu kwa bahati hiyo. Tumeweza pia kuwasaidia wenzetu wa Kakamega, nao wakapata mwito, wakafuata nyayo zetu, na wamepata mapadri wengi ambao wanafanya kazi katika jimbo hili la Kakamega.
Through them was able now to promote vocations in the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega. We now boast of about 130 diocesan priests in Kakamega. And in my own assessment, it's by far the fastest and the greatest growth of vocations in the region of the metropolitan of Kisumu. That if the diocese began in 1978, and by the year 2022, you are talking of over 100 priests, then that tells you what kind of man Bishop Sulumeti has been.
Religious vocations were not left out. He took keen interest in religious life, knowing too well how important it is in the life of the church.
For that reason, really, we can say that he is the father of vocations. He's the father of the priests that we talk. He's the father of even the religious sisters. The sisters of Mary of Kakamega are sisters of diocesan right. Therefore, they were directly under him.
First of all, I would like to congratulate him for having persevered in the vineyard of the Lord faithfully for the 50 years as the Bishop of Kakamega Diocese. Indeed, he's a wonderful servant of the Lord. I've known him since I joined the Sisters of Mary of Kakamega as our father, as our grandfather, as our guardian, as our everything. He means a lot to us, Sisters of Mary. Indeed, he has helped us to be faithful in the vineyard of the Lord Indeed, He has touched us in many ways, allowing us to serve God through the institutions in the Diocese of Kakamega and the surrounding dioceses like Bungoma, Kisumu, and so on.
Therefore, promoting vocations, both to the priesthood and the religious life, was his commitment. And that commitment has borne fruit over the years, that we who succeeded him can only rejoice at those fruits and also continue.
We remain grateful to Bishop Philip for the growth of faith in Western region of Kenya and his commitment to fulfillment of his apostolic ministry. Bishop Sulumeti values education as integral to evangelization.
So, Bishop Sulumeti, in the pastoral life of the church, he has played a tremendous role. When you look at Kakamega and the metropolitan of Kisumu at large, you see the vibrance of faith across the metropolitan. But you also see genuine faith, both in Bungoma and Kakamega, where he was also a bishop. And you note that the grounding, the foundation of faith that was laid there has been strong. And thanks to zealous shepherds and pastors like Bishop Sulumeti, whom we celebrate with a lot of gratitude. We are here also to talk about a man who promoted social cohesion and social life. Bishop Sulumeti contributed a lot to the social development of not only Kakamega, but even the whole society of Western as a whole. Bishop Sulumeti is known to have built so many schools. That means Bishop Sulumeti promoted education. At that time, there were very few people who are going to school, and especially girls. And Bishop Sulumeti made this commitment that young people went to school by starting schools, by promoting the education of young people and especially girls. We have so many schools in Kakamega, and Kakamega is one of those dioceses that boast of many Catholic schools, Catholic sponsored, because of the men of the caliber of Bishop Sulumeti, the Bishop Emeritus. A number of schools are even known, named after him. Bishop Sulumeti Girls, Bishop Philip schools, and so on, many other schools that really bear his mark because he was a man of education. So,
the school is called Bishop Sulumeti because of the founder of this school, who is also a sponsor. He was a bishop in this diocese. He happened to have been in Germany for a number of years and stayed with the family. While there, when he was now leaving, coming back to Kenya, he was given an award. He was given a present. He was actually gifted a Mercedes Benz. And he felt that that is not the kind of award he would have wanted, because his heart was with the girl child back at home in Kakamega. He felt this child, he would have wished to assist them. So what he did, he requested if that car, the Mercedes, could be sold so that it is transformed into a school. So it was sold, he was given the money, he came back to Kenya and bought land. He visited the Ministry of Education and applied to begin a school. He was asked if he had land. He said yes. So he went through all the processes of getting permission to begin a school. So he got the land, he registered this school, he put up a few buildings and started a girls' school because girls were very disadvantaged at that time.
Bishop, again, particularly where I am standing at Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, and on this chaplaincy ground, Bishop was very fundamental among the eminent persons from Western Kenya who frontiered, labored for the establishment of Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. He worked with the likes of the late Professor George Eshwani. He speaks how he went to the State House and how finally they settled on having a university in this region. He quickly thought of a chaplaincy and went out and bought 2 plots adjacent to the university, like where the church is a plot, where the father's house is a plot. And these 2 plots combined have given us now the Catholic chaplaincy, where we have the church, where we have the house. We are about to put up the hall, and many students come here. We have over 2,000 students who come from us in this chaplaincy. This is the work of Bishop Philip Sulumeti, Bishop Emeritus of Kakamega.
He is the patriarch of the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega. And all the institutions, all the pastoral life, the spiritual life of the people there are anchored on a man who dedicated himself fully as the bishop and as a shepherd.
He had great love for mothers in the church. And in our Catholic Church, he had a special liking for the mamas, knowing very well women have challenges here and there.
And there were only around 5 parishes. But through his encouragement, through his prayers, also joining us in having masses with him, moving around the diocese, he assisted us so much to bring men back to, we call it in Sima, back to the junction, because they had got lost. And the junction is now the church.
Bishop Sulumeti, who is celebrating 50 years, is an institution. He was able to guide the life of the Diocese of Kakamega for all these years in terms of the many, many things he did. You will meet him and he will tell you those who are the children that he baptized, the children or the young people that he confirmed, the couples that he later, presided over their marriage.
I have been very close to Bishop Sulumeti for a long time. Now, those 50 years, as I said, the years when I was either teaching at Yala or I was close to him here in Kakamega.
And the many, many young men who are children who are now priests in the same diocese of Kakamega.
As you ordained most of us and the entire priest, the priest of the Diocese of Kakamega, many of us look to you with hope that we have a future as we go on with our daily apostolates.
Bishop Philip is well appreciated by many for his holistic sense of life that has impacted positively on many.
I want to thank him very much because all this journey I have made as a seminarian, then as a priest, to the point of being appointed a bishop and ordained a bishop. He has been very close to me as a person and has had a huge influence on my life because of his love for excellence. His love for excellence has had a huge influence on me, and I have desired also in my own life to impress upon other people to seek always the best in life, just the same way as he did with me.
Above all, what I remember him and really appreciate as a bishop is the holistic sense of life that he had, that nobody and no aspect of human life was left out of his ministry, that his ministry covered everybody, particularly the priests, whom he was always ready to mold, and not only to mold, but to promote to being good priests. The laity, and that is why he built many parishes, established many parishes, and the pastoral center, all for the formation of the laity. The religious was always a deep sense in him about promoting the religious, and vocations of the religious are paramount. Dignity of life and decency were always in him. That can be seen in good rectories that he built and making sure that priests had decent places and comfortable places to come to. So that holistic sense of purpose, that no one should be left out and no aspect of human life should be left out, is the most touching and memorable aspect that personally I would be ready and I'm willing to imitate as a priest and as a bishop. And it will not be enough to finish this statement without expressing my deep gratitude to him for what he did for many priests and for me in particular, for molding me from being a seminarian, looking after me when I was a priest in many countries, in many places, and even now for being concerned for me as a bishop. And I wish him the very best, and may that heart that he has for everyone, God continue to reward him.
Bishop Obanyi continues to share his reflections on Bishop Philip Sulumeti.
So, in health, Bishop was not left behind. And we have many health institutions that he promoted, that he supported. We have St. Mary's Mumias Mission Hospital. It's a big hospital, together with the School of Clinical Medicine. That means that not only in treatment, but also in training those who are health workers and servants. St. Elizabeth Mukumu Hospital, which also does very well, together with St. Elizabeth School of Nursing, one of the best in Kenya. So he was directly involved in healthcare, in education, in social activity. He promoted the social development and the cohesion of the people of God in Western Kenya and in Kakamega. And his mark has been left that is indelible in the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega. And we thank God for it. So we have a lot to celebrate in terms of his contribution in social life, in spiritual life, in pastoral activity and life of the diocese and invocations, and above all, the shepherd that he was. In the country, Bishop Sulumeti is known as one of the most outspoken bishops who never shied away from tackling social issues and putting them clearly to the people. He was, remember, a colleague, a friend, and a brother of the great bishops that we have had before us. His Eminence, the servant of God, Maurice Michael Cardinal Tunga, was a brother to him who inspired him. Bishop Tiberius Charles Mugendi of Kisii Diocese of happy memory was a brother to him. Bishop Longinus Atundo, the late, of happy memory in Bungoma. These were the pillars of the faith that became the shepherds, and they are the ones who animated life of people in Kenya. Bishop Sulumeti was a prominent member of the Association of Member Episcopal Conference of Eastern Africa, that is the AMESEA. Is one of the most famous bishops known for his contribution in across the region of Eastern Africa, where we have the 9 countries that form AMESEA. Now, I took over from Bishop Sulumeti in the year 2015, March, when he passed on to me the historic pastoral staff that was a symbol of the same staff that the bishop's term used. And he passed on a diocese that was vibrant, a diocese that was strong, a diocese that was mature in many ways. I came into the Diocese of Kakamega knowing it was a diocese that was on the move. And I have witnessed his legacy and his support and his prayers, that his work was immense, and I will be eternally grateful. I'm most privileged, Bishop, that I have my predecessor who is very lucid in his mind, who is very clear in his memory, and who is very loving in his advice. Bishop Sulumeti has been that to me the last 7 years that I've been in Kakamega. He has been always a support. His respect, his support, his advice is enormous, is overwhelming. And if we are celebrating 50 years as the Bishop of Kakamega, in the last 7 years, I'm celebrating him because he has been a bishop who has supported me. Therefore, people of God, let us celebrate this great man. Let us cherish the history that he has been, the teachings that he has given. And he has published 2 books, which I recommend all of us to read, to understand the institution of Bishop Emeritus Sulumeti and understand the consistency of his teaching. We will see that he is a man who teaches and promotes our faith. And therefore, I welcome all of us, even as I wrote a letter and said we all should participate, we all should support, but we should all celebrate in prayer, in supporting him, and in thanking him for what he has been in this diocese all the years that he served, and now in his well-deserved retirement.
And Bishop Joseph Obani Sagwe of the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega has this message to Bishop Philip Sulumeti, Emeritus of Kakamega.
Dear Bishop Emeritus Sulumeti, this is your celebration. And saying thank you is not enough. But be assured of our love, be assured of our support, and be assured of our encouragement always. You being among us as our Father, we thank God for you. We congratulate you. And we promise you that we will always, always support you, even as you retire, as you have retired, so that you can continue to be our inspiration. May God continue strengthening you in your health, and may you continue to be a symbol of faith in this diocese where you've been a father for the last 50 years. And now that we celebrate the Golden Jubilee, we all rejoice for you. We thank God for you. And we ask ad multos annos. Who knows? We celebrate 75 years. It will be the greatest thing that we do. But for now, we are happy for you. And congratulations and happy 50 years anniversary as the Bishop of Kakamega and the Church in Kenya.
Yesu,